Hello beautiful humans, welcome. This practice has an emphasis on play and staying young at heart. So finding joy, hopefully, in new or slightly different movements and inviting in lightness, a cheerfulness, an openness, committing to playfulness. And for some of us, play can be a wonderful portal into flow, into moment-to-moment presence awareness, where we feel like we're in flow, in the zone, and time kind of melts away. So let's see how we go, and you won't need any props today. I'll see you on the mat. Hello again, beautiful ones. We're going to begin seated today. If you know that you're a little tighter in the hips, then you might sit up on your folded blanket. Okay, so let's meet with the soles of the feet together and the knees separate. And I'm going to sit on a blanket actually. I think that's a good option for me today. Too much running. And the heels don't need to be in close towards you. They can be a little bit further away from the pelvis if that feels more easeful for you. And let's have the hands on the front of the shins or at the front of the ankles. Take a moment just to settle, getting into or sensing into the body, inhabiting the body. And then we'll begin a little bit of movement, a little bit of cat-cow movement with the legs in this butterfly Baddha Konasana shape. So when you're ready, gently roll the pelvis forward, draw the spine forward and lift the chin. And then round the spine back, pelvis paws backwards, spine rounds and chin draws to the chest. And we'll just alternate between those two. So taking it at your own pace. And the idea with the practice today is to explore movement that melts tension and tightness and rigidity, which I feel really comes from when we are being very serious. And also play with new movement maybe, or with balance. Using the balance to play, to keep us young at heart, to not take ourselves so seriously. And you might stay now with this cat-cow movement. This might feel really delicious for you. Or you might start to circle a little, traveling a little bit out of the linear and into the circular, circling the spine, back, around, forward, around, and back. And then maybe changing direction. And wherever you are, whether you're still in cat and cow movement or whether you're circling around, do one more circle or one more cat-cow movement with the spine, and then we'll arrive and sit tall for a moment. Okay, let's draw the knees in towards one another, soles of feet to the mat. And we'll pop our feet off to one side and step back to our first downward facing dog. You might place your blanket off to one side now too. And take a moment to arrive in down dog or play a little bit through the legs. Shimmy the hips side to side or nod and shake the head. Maybe there's a deep in-breath and a long sigh on the out-breath. And then when you're ready, we'll raise the right leg into three-legged dog And as you exhale, rock forward as though you're rocking forward to plank pose. Draw the right knee to the chest and then just hover the right foot off the floor as close as it can be to the hands. And then we'll press into the hands, lift the hips up and back, three-legged dog. Let's do that again. Rock forward and just hover the foot off the mat. And one more, raise the right leg up and back. And this time as we rock forward, we'll actually step the right foot forward between the hands. Lower the back knee down onto the mat. Folded blanket underneath the knee if you need. And then we'll reach the arms up overhead. And now let's explore side bending a little. Right arm releases down alongside the body. Let it hang. Let it be soft and free. And we'll lean the torso up and over to the right. Reach the left arm up and over too. And when you're ready to switch sides. Same thing. Gently leaning to the left. And we'll swing between the two. Perhaps attuning or beginning to attune to that innate joy that can come from just being in the body, from movement, from being embodied. Let's do one more to each side. Back to center, reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath in. Let the inhale lift you upwards a little, reaching through the fingertips. And as you exhale, hands to the mat, either side of the front foot. Now anchor through that left hand. Place the left hand on the mat just slightly forward of the shoulder. Use the right hand to stabilize you as long as you need. As you sweep the right leg back, you might lift it up into the space behind you, or you might just let it rest on the floor. See if you can keep that left shin parallel today. If you need the extra stability, then you can pivot the shin behind you so it's perpendicular to the mat instead. And then when you're ready, play with lifting the right arm up into space. I wonder how many times I'm going to say the word play today. I might need to look for some more synonyms. Finding what brings you joy, maybe. And if you're looking for a little bit more play or a little bit more fun or exploration, you might start to sweep that top leg and top arm forward. And then sweep the top leg back, bend the knee, reach the top arm back. And play with the balance as you sweep between the two. Using this balance to keep us really in the present moment, letting everything else drop away. And the next time the leg is back and the arm is back, you might hold the foot. Take another breath here, wherever you are, whether you're reaching to the foot or continuing to keep the leg long or choosing to keep the foot on the floor. And then we'll exhale, right hand to mat, right knee to mat, and then chest forward. We'll bend the elbows and lower all the way down onto the mat. Next in breath, lift the chest, lift the legs, locust pose variation. And then as we exhale, we'll release, tuck the toes, press back to all fours, and then hips towards the heels into toes tucked variation of child's pose. Arms reaching forward, forward melting down into the space between the arms. And you're welcome to stay here or lift the head, keep the toes tucked, walk the hands in towards the knees, press down, lift the torso and sit back on the heels. So a little bit of an opener here for the feet and the backs of the toes. Let's interlace the hands behind us, reach the knuckles back and down. And if this is too intense, then stand up on the shins instead. We're only here for a short while today, so one more breath. We'll release the interlace of the hands. Now feel free to use the hands as much as you like. Hands might come to the mat or to your furniture. Lean forward a little and then use the momentum to rock back onto the soles of the feet. You might pause in Utkatasana chair pose or sit all the way down into a squat. Hands might come to heart center or arms might reach up. Take one more in-breath wherever you are, Utkatasana or squatting in a Malasana. And then as you exhale, hips lift and fold forward, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Let's keep going with the play. So walking hands forward, all the way back into down dog. And here we go again. Raise the left leg into the space behind you. And as you exhale, rock forward and hover the left foot off the floor as close as you can to the hands. Lift the hips up and back, sweep the left leg behind you. And once again, hover that left foot. And then three-legged dog, left leg lifts up and back. And this time as we exhale, we'll step that foot through between the hands. Back knee to mat, lift the torso, reach the arms. And we'll begin the side bend to the left this time. So release the left arm down, let it hang loose as you reach the right arm up and over, and switch sides. And the arms can be soft, the fingers can be soft, as long as, you've got that awareness from fingertip to toe tip. You don't have to have the arms in a certain way. It's not like classical dance or anything like that. It's just moment to moment presence awareness. One more to the right, and then we'll meet in the lunge, Anjaneyasana, and hands to the mat. This time, our right hand's going to anchor to the floor, just slightly forward of the right shoulder. And then when you're ready, use the left hand to support you, sweep that left leg back. The left hip's going to sort of roll up over the right hip, reach the left arm, maybe the top leg lifts. And you can play, the foot that's on the floor, it can be tucked or untucked. So treating your practice a little bit like an exploration or an opportunity to experiment in the body, see what's best for you. Maybe swinging the leg forward and back. Maybe you fall out or fall over or wobble a little bit and just coming back in when you're ready. There isn't a right or a wrong way to play. At least not the last time I checked. Maybe things are different now. One more moment here, and if you're swinging the leg forward and back, next time it swings back, you might take a hold of the foot and press the hand into the foot into the hand, and then we'll release. Left hand to mat, left knee to mat, chest forward and lower. This time we'll keep the tops of the feet anchored. Press into the hands, lift the chest. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. And we'll press to all fours. Tuck the toes again. Hips back towards the heels. And there might be a lifting of the corners of the mouth, a curling upward of the corners of the mouth. Soft smile here to yourself. You might choose to stay here or lift the head, walk the hands in or step the hands in, press up and sit on the heels again. This time we'll interlace the hands in front of us, turn the palms forward and reach the arms overhead. So we'll get tall, get a little longer. Let there be a lightness through the torso, just like there's a lightness and a buoyancy and a bubbly feeling when we play and enjoy. Then we'll release the hands. Maybe there's no hands involved. Maybe there is support of the hands on the floor. Rock the hips back and sit into your squat or sit into your chair pose. Feel that stability for a moment. Take an in-breath. And then we'll exhale, lift the hips and fold. Walk the hands forward. Back to down dog. One thing about practicing yogasana, especially more of a vinyasa style, is there's a lot of time on the hands or the hands and knees, just like children can spend a lot of time on hands and knees, mirroring that a little bit. Okay, let's keep going. One more moment of play in standing poses. Right leg lifts up behind you. And this time we'll step it straight through between the hands. Come all the way up into crescent lunge. So we'll keep that back knee lifted away from the mat now. Take an in-breath. And on the out breath, we'll open to warrior two. So turn to the left, pivot that back heel onto the mat and open the arms wide. Just here for a sweet moment, not too long, before we reach the right arm up and back. Left arm can just rest down on the back thigh and circle the hands to the mat. Frame the front foot with the hands and lift the back heel, runners lunge. From here, choosing the same variation we've practiced already, back knee to mat, anchor through the left hand and sweep that leg back. Or this time, keep the back knee lifted, left hand anchors slightly in front of the shoulder, pivot to the outer edge of the right foot, step the ball of the left foot behind the right leg, lift the hips and reach the right arm up and over. One more in breath. There's a joy in seeing the world upside down or from underneath that top arm. And if you're in this wild thing variation, as you exhale, bend the left knee, shift the weight back into the feet so it's off the shoulder, and then pivot right hand to mat. Down dog. Choosing joy now. So that might be vinyasa, that might be child's pose, it might be staying in downward dog. So choosing a moment to tailor the practice to you. And then left side, left leg rises behind you and it steps through between the hands. Reach up. Enjoying the buoyancy and the spring-like nature of the legs in the standing poses. And now let's open to the right, back heel to mat, front of pelvis opens gently to the right too, and the arms reach wide. A moment, a breath or two, and then reach the left arm up and back. Circle the hands or windmill the arms to the mat. Back into runner's lunge, lift the back heel. We'll go the other way this time. Knee down variation or keep the back knee lifted. Right hand presses the mat away. Pivot to the outer edge of the right foot and the left foot steps behind. See if you can keep the left foot or the left leg close, right up against the right leg today. Lift the hips, lift the right side waist, and reach the left arm. Coming out a little earlier if that's what you need. So you're playing with your edge too. Meeting your edge, but not pushing beyond it. And if you're still with me in the Wild Thing variation, exhale, bend the right knee, shift the weight to the feet, left hand to mat, and hips lift up and back, down dog. Take vinyasa, plank, chaturanga dandasana, locust, cobra, or up dog. Or maybe choose child's pose and skip vinyasa today. Choosing wisely, tailoring the practice for you. And if you've taken vinyasa, lower the knees to the mat, glide the hips back to the heels, take a moment in balasana, child's pose. And then we'll gently unfold, unfurl from child's pose and sit the hips off to one side, sweep the legs in front of us. We'll make our way onto our backs, but before we do, let's start from seated, knees bent, soles of feet on the mat. Make sure you've got enough space to lie back behind you. Feet as wide as the mat today. So you feel the edges of the mat underneath the soles of the feet. Reach the arms forward, and when you're ready, slowly roll down. So play can be light and buoyant and bubbly, but it doesn't mean that it's always easy, does it? It can be challenging too. And then when we arrive on our backs, let's open the arms into a wide T shape or a cactus shape, elbows bent. Keep the feet as wide as the mat. You might pull the heels in a little bit closer towards you, towards your pelvis, and then we'll just gently sway the knees from side to side. So a little windshield wipe of the knees, right to left, left to right. Pelvis rocking on the mat as the knees sway from side to side. And the next time that your knees fall to the left, let them stay there. Then we'll lift the knees back to center, and you might need to shift the hips a little bit too, so they're centered as well. And we'll move into the second side. Let the knees fall to the left. Lift the knees to center. Center the pelvis too, so the hips feel in the middle of the mat again. And we'll hug the knees into the chest. A little rock side to side. And we'll release into a final still shape today. Maybe that's knees bent, feet wide on the mat, knees falling towards one another, constructive rest pose. Maybe that's legs out long, Shavasana. It might be something else. Taking a moment here just to settle into stillness. Letting go of the movement and the play and the balances and the transitions from shape to shape, pose to pose, and now noticing how it feels to be still and quiet. And maybe the movement has helped melt a little bit of the tension in the body or the body-mind. Invoked a little lightness of being. Just noticing what's changed. Thank you for coming to enjoy the practice and explore on the mat today. May we be happy. Peace, peace, peace.